So we've literally just had a new archetype announced, and what I'm going to do in today's video is I'm going to talk through what the new cards do, what is the ethos of the deck, and then I'm going to show you two combos I've come up with in the hour and a half since these cards were announced. They're not the greatest combos, but they are something. So what is Raika? Raika is an archetype made of plants, insects, and reptiles who aim to make powerful link monsters with their climbing ability. And the link monsters have the ability to link climb as well as searching for the archetypal trap. So we'll start with the level 1, the most important one. This is Raika no Marakobi. You're going to special summon this with the first effect of this card's name once per turn, and you're going to use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. The first effect is you can special summon this card from your hand by sending an insect, plant, or reptile monster from your hand to the graveyard. Pretty strong. The second effect is the important one though, because if this card is normal or special summoned, you can add up to 2 of your Raika cards with different names that are banished and or in your deck to your hand, except for another copy of itself, then banish 1 Raika card from your hand. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn, except for insects, plants, and reptile monsters. So this allows you to get 2 cards out of your deck. You're probably going to be banishing one of the ones you search if you're doing a 1-card combo, but if you have other cards in hands that you probably don't need, like a second copy of this guy, for example, you can actually search for 2, which is quite powerful. The next card is Raika no Yahuza Kamakiri. Maybe it's a level 3 insect. You can only special summon once with the first effect, and you can only use the second effect once per turn. You can special summon this card by placing one of your banished insect, plant, or reptile monsters on the from banished to the bottom of your deck. And if this card is sent to the graveyard as material for the link summon of a Raika monster, you can target 1 level 4 or lower insect, plant, or reptile monster in your graveyard, except for itself, and special summon it in defense position. This obviously pairs quite nicely with our first monster, because that is going to be banishing a monster from the deck. You add this as the other one you add, and then you can put the bark card back, and you can instantly summon this, allowing you to go for a Link 2 play, which is quite cool. And then obviously you go for the Link 2, and you can just summon a guy back. The next one is Raika no Yori Tagaki. Maybe. It's a level 4 reptile with 2300 defense. You only special summon the first effect, only use the second effect once per turn, like the previous ones. You special summon this one by banishing an insect, plant, or reptile from your graveyard. And the second effect is, as a slow effect for some reason, discard an insect, plant, or reptile, then target one face-up monster your opponent controls, except an insect, plant, or reptile, and return it to the hand. This is easily the worst of the 3 monsters we've talked about, but it is still an extender, so you probably still want to play some number of it. Next, we'll go on to the continuous spell. This is Raika Royabong Kurosaki. It's a continuous spell. All your insect, plant, and reptiles gain 300 attack and defense, and all other face-up monsters in the field lose 300 attack and defense. And you can activate one of these effects once per turn. So you can add a Raika monster from your deck to your hand, then discard 1 card. This will allow us to get to our starter. Or you could use the effect to special summon one of your Raikas that is banished or in your hand or graveyard in defense position. So allows you to get your cards back out of banished, and also allows you to search for your starter, which is really good. The trap card's easily searchable, as we'll talk about later, but this card allows you to target cards your opponent controls up to the number of insects, plant, or reptile monsters you control with different types. Destroy them. If a face-up insect, plant, and or reptile you control is destroyed by battle or card effect while this card is in your graveyard, except the turn it was sent there, you can banish this card and target 1 monster your opponent controls, destroy it, and you can only use each effect of this once per turn. I've got 2 of them in this list. You definitely don't need to play 2. You could probably just play 1 because you can get it back with the level 1, but I've opted to play 2 in this list. For non-archetypal cards, I've opted to play 3 Lonefire Blossom because it does get to the level 1, which is your 1-card starter. Also playing Small World because this card pairs really well with the archetype. For some strange reason, everything just works really nicely. So the starter is a level 1 with 0 attack and 0 defense and is a plant. This means that you can search it by going through an Ash Blossom since it has 0 attack. So you can go from Raika to Ash Blossom to go to level 1, or you can go the other way around and go Ash Blossom to Raika to get to the thing. You also do it with Droll, since Droll has 0 attack, so you can also go through the Raika to get to through the Raika? Yeah, through the Raika to get to level 1, or you can go for the Ash Blossom. There's plenty of ways you can go through, so Small World works really well in this deck. We're playing 3 Ash, 3 Nib, 3 Droll, 3 Veiler. And I'm playing some bricks here just to show you off a combo. I don't know if you would play these cards. So the Lily Borea allows you to get to Disc Colosseum, which allows you to get to Virion Empress Elatia, which is a reptile, which is one of the types you are allowed to summon using this deck, and this allows you to go for a rank 8 play in Teardrop the Rika Cream, which will have a plant in it because it has the Borea, but you could just play the Borea to search for a Furion Cross, which is a negate, so that is also an option. I'm playing it a Robate's Laurel because this allows you to trigger a Aromatherapy Jasmine to search for the Lily Borea, and that's essentially what this package is for. 1 call by and 3 prosp. We'll now get into the extra deck. So, Raika no Musha Dokuru. This requires 2 monsters, including an insect, plant, or reptile monster, and you only use the first and second effect once per turn, and you can only use the effect if you haven't special summoned monsters except insects, plants, and reptiles. So the first effect is you can target a Raika monster in your graveyard, special summon it in defense position. Really strong effect. The second effect is an effect that all of these link monsters have, where if this card is in your graveyard, you can target an insect, plant, or reptile monster you control, place it on the bottom of the deck, and if you do, special summon this card. You'll notice this doesn't banish the monster when it leaves the field, or like returns to the extra deck. It does just go back to the graveyard, so this deck is going to have basically infinite follow-up every single turn, because these guys are going to be in graveyard. So imagine you're going into turn 3, you could put a plant, insect, or reptile on the bottom of the deck, special summon out the link 2. The link 2 could then potentially summon out something like a Raika. You could then link, which would trigger the Raika to summon back the level 1. You could then search with the level 1, and then you could bounce for the other guys as well, which just gives you infinite material, it feels like. The link 3 we are playing 1 copy of. You could probably play more of this, but again, these guys just sit in graveyards, so as long as they don't get removed with DD Crow, you can just keep using them. But the effect of this guy, it requires 2 monsters, including an insect, plant, or reptile monster. The first effect is you can banish 2 insect, plants, and or reptiles from your graveyard and add a Raika trap from your deck to your hand. The second effect is if this card is in your graveyard, you can do the same thing as we talked about earlier. Raika no Kurosawagami, I'm butchering these names, I do apologise. This card's effect that actually matters is if your opponent activates a monster effect, you can make both players unable to activate monster effects in the hand for the rest of this turn. So this is a interesting effect to put on this card. It means that if you get hand trapped once, you can guarantee you won't get hand trapped again, or if your opponent has a board and they decide to use it, you can make sure they're not going to be hand trapping you later on. This is definitely a card for turn 3 and on, but I could see you maybe making this just to get it in graveyard, just so you can summon it on turn 3. The link 5 is really interesting. It requires 2+ insects, plant, and or reptiles, and you only use the first and second effect once per turn, as we said earlier. If a monster is special summoned from your opponent's deck and or extra deck, you can destroy 2 monsters on the field. It's pretty good as a non-targeting destruction if your opponent special summons from the deck or extra. Really, really good. Obviously has the effect that it can also bounce itself. It does have to destroy exactly 2, so if your opponent summons like an SP Little Knight as their first monster from the extra deck, you are going to have to pop this card as well, I suppose. But that just loses to SP anyway. But then again, everything loses to SP. For the rest of the extra deck, we're playing 1 Jasmine, 1 Dryas, 1 Teardrop, 1 Typhon, 1 Zeus, 1 Bangalancer, 1 Shinobi Insect, 1 Atopus, and 1 Echidna. Honestly, I don't really put much thought into this. These are just cards you could potentially summon. This is an interesting one since when a monster it points to is destroyed, you can special an insect back from your graveyard. So if you had this pointing to the link 5 and it pops itself, then you could summon back the Kamakiri, I guess, or something. I don't know. Let's get into the combos. So we are going to start with a very basic no bricky combo, which is a 1-card combo with the Raika. So we're going to normal summon the Maracu. I'm just going to call this the plant. We're going to normal summon the plant. I'm going to use the effect to banish the reptile and search for the insect. We're then going to use the insect's effect to put the reptile on the bottom of the deck and special summon out the insects. We are then going to link off our monsters and go for the link 2 and use the effect of the insect to bring back the plant, and then use the link 2 to summon back the insect. From here we're going to use the plant to go into a Dryas and use the insect and a link 2 to go into the link 3. We can then use the link 2 to bounce a Dryas and then use the link 3 to banish our 2 monsters in graveyard to add the trap from our deck to our hand. Finally we can link off with the link 5 and we can set a trap. So this end board is 3 pops, 2 from the link monster and 1 from the trap, and we also have the link 2 and the link 3 in the graveyard, which can come back if we summon any other monster in our next turn, which is quite cool. So this next combo is going to be the plant plus a discard, and it's going to be a little bit more bricky because we're playing the garnets. We're going to normal summon the plant, use the effect to search for the insect and banish the reptile. We do the same thing as we did before, putting the reptile back to summon the insect, and then we're going to link off for our link 2. We're then going to use the link 2's, we're going to use the insect's effect to bring back the plant, and then the link 2's effect to bring back the insect, and then we're going to go for an Aromatherapy Jasmine. We're going to use this to tribute our insect to summon a Laurel, and then we're going to turn our Laurel into a Dryas. This is going to trigger our Laurel to gain 500 life points, which is going to trigger our Jasmine to search for a plant monster. So we're going to search for Lily Borea. From here, we're going to use Lily Borea's effect to equip this Laurel from our graveyard, and we're going to send it to search for a Firian Discolosseum. If we wanted to here, we could search the Cross, which disappeared far too quickly, which is just a trap, which is a negate if you didn't want to play so many Garnets. But in this version of the combo, what we're going to do is we're going to activate Discolosseum, and we're going to search for the Empress. From here, we're going to use the Link 2's effect to bounce the Dryas, and then we're going to use the Jasmine and the Lily Borea to go for the Link 3, and we're going to use the Link 3 banishing both of our Aromas in graveyard to search for the trap. From here, we're going to use the Empress to equip the Lily Borea, and then we're going to use the Empress discarding discard to summon the Lily Borea and go for a rank 8 play in the Raika Teardrop, and then we're going to link our Link 2 and our Link 3 away for the Link 5 and set our trap. So this end board is a little bit better. It is a quick effect tribute because we have the Lily Borea as material. We still have the 2 pops, which is quite strong, and because we have 2 plants on an insect and a plant on the field, the trap actually pops 2. So we have 4 pops and a tribute, which is 5 points of removal, which is quite strong, I feel like. These are, again, combos I came up with in about an hour or an hour and a half. So we're along the point. It's now 5:30 in the morning, so very, very tired. But if you did enjoy this video, really would appreciate it if you left a like on it, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.